I'm Majella, and welcome to Fated the podcast.
And I'm Carlie, and this is going to be a fun episode. So we wanted to record a conversation that started, I think it was last week when we were sitting down to record, and you were saying, oh my gosh, my partner has found this Reddit thread, and you started telling me about it. I was like, hold up. I think we need to record this because this is hilarious. I, as someone who doesn't spend time on Reddit at all, am just flabbergasted by the depth of conversation and the honesty, I don't know, the sharing, potentially oversharing that some of these threads have, because since that I've gone and had a little bit of a look and gone, oh my gosh, there's some really cool stuff there. So we just wanted to read out some of the funny things that people are writing about smut, romantasy, romance, that kind of genre, how it's affecting their relationships, how they're changing their behavior in their relationships, how some of them are now dressing differently, presenting themselves differently. So this is just going to be a really fun kind of, episode where we pretty much read through the Reddit thread and we comment on it. So do you want to kick off?
Sure. I mean, I also think it's so, what's the word? It's very reassuring, I guess. There is so much evidence that the books that we love and are reading have had such an impact on not just the reader, but partners, which then affects the family dynamic. Because, if they're having, great sex and feeling loved up, then the repercussions of that out into the world. But it's just so funny because on Reddit, I think there's a little bit of not anonymity, but, it's not heavy on the visuals. People's usernames are often not their real names. Like, they make up funny things, and it's just it's real quippy. It has that energy of 90s chat rooms, where you're going in there and people are just sharing shit. It's really cool. Yeah. So anyway, my partner's on Reddit a lot, so he found this thread, and he just, because I'm always this is so there's no drawbacks to me reading romantasy and smut books. None. Zero. And occasionally I'm like other people would if I was with other partners, they would love it if I was reading this stuff, where he's like, turn the light out. Come on, we've got to go to sleep. It's so late.
And you're like, honey, I'm building my reverse harem as we speak. You're like, other partners would love this. So be warned.
That's right. So this thread is called "How Has Reading Romance and Smut Books Affected Your Love Life?" And people have replied. And the top response is from a man whose partner reads them. And he's like, I don't really ask. Instead, I shower, I put on grey sweats and a dark Henley, making sure to push up the sleeves to show my forearms. I run her a bath and then read a scene to her in as deep a voice as I can make sound natural. I add in a cooked dinner and a finished ironing pile, and I have a 0% failure rate. She knows exactly what I'm up to, but is yet to complain. Which, as a standalone thing, is awesome. But the next comment is who let this guy escape the books? It's just everyone is yeah.
And then he writes, shh, don't let them take me back. Why would she complain? This is literally a manual for men to have happy partners and to get sex. It's a
right. Exactly. Manual.
Good job, James, whoever you are. Great response.
And if you go through the comments, he has responded he just sounds like a guy who gets women. He's like, someone wrote, damn, you had me by the time you pushed up your sleeves. And he wrote, don't lie, it was the ironing. It's always the ironing.
And the ironing, people are saying the ironing as the preliminaries to set the mood. For me, and then this woman's written, for me, it would be clean dishes in the drying rack, as we don't own an iron.
Exactly. So I think that, he knows. And also, I guess she hasn't done anything, but as in he's learnt some things. He's reading her some of the books that she loves, and he's added in these extras. So I don't know if they have come from reading the books, but that's a man who has strategically worked out a way to win for both of them.
Which is so sad.
Another one that I really liked was someone wrote, for the past year, a woman wrote, for the past year, my libido has increased to teen boy levels after reading. I read romance, spicy, smut books to constantly edge myself, and then hubby reaps the benefit when I need relief. There are some kinks I didn't even know I had until I read about them in some novels. And then this last bit is, I have given more blowjobs in the last year than I have in the last 16 years of marriage. So Hubs is happy about that too. I mean, I love the honesty here. And then the next woman wrote, oh my God, I think you're me. So it's not just like she's out there, like,
Yeah.
you know, this is like random woman. It's like there's these people going like, you know, so funny.
One woman's written, no, I just use him to release the tension. Like he's just like a vibrator. Like he's just need him at the end. I don't need him before anything else. I just need my book boyfriend and then him at the end. I definitely talk dirtier to my vibrator after reading some good smut.
And I also love that people in Reddit often are so supportive and like just add things like, you know, snort, this shit is cracking me up, you know, this is me. Then someone wrote, lol, I mostly read sci-fi and fantasy, so no. And then he's like, and then in inverted commas, it's like, I put my wizard hat on. And it's just like, you know, it's just like.
And someone wrote, are you wearing your wizard hat?
That's right. So funny. Someone wrote down here, married 10 years, 2 kids. We have way more sex since I started reading romance. Used to be once every 2-3 weeks. Now maybe it's 3 to 5 times a week. So, I mean, my husband calls me a thirsty old lady and teases me for reading porn, but willingly admits he's the beneficiary. So funny. I mean, that's a really like honest, like it's not necessarily funny, but she's saying since this has happened, there've been all these improvements, and not just like the amount. It's also like the things that she's reading. She's getting ideas and then taking them into the bedroom. So. And then she also mentions that she's like, I think all the sex has also helped our relationship otherwise. We're closer and more flirtatious, which makes spending more time together fun. So it's like, I mean, is there a drawback to this? No.
Well,
there isn't.
I would love to see if in like bookstores there are more husbands and boyfriends and partners coming in and asking for that section of the bookstore. Like, my wife reads these kind of books and I need to buy her more. It's working, you know? I wonder. And there's also just like the simple thing of like this one said, I don't try to recreate a certain scene, but I'll tell him about some of the scenes, which is an easy offhanded way to signal to him something I'm interested in. And I find that he will usually try it the next time. It's opening up conversations for both of us to talk about the fantasies we have and which ones should just stay fantasies and which ones we want to try. It's also helped a lot with sexting each other. So, yeah, the ability of these books just to even open up those conversations or to be a less confronting way to say, hey, I want to try this, or, you know, I really would like you to do this to me. I think that's really cool and positive. There are some, like, to make it as serious for a second, there are some that have said, like, my standards are now really way too high. Like, I cannot deal with men that just do the bare minimum now. Like, they have to do this, they have to wear this, they have to say this, they have to lean on the door like this, they have to growl like this, they have to hiss, they have to say these words. So there is a little bit of that in there as well. But I think, yeah, mostly it's positive. Any other funny ones?
I mean, there's a lot of people, not a funny one, but there's like a lot of comments where it's just like, I've had more sex in the last 6 months, 2 years, 5 weeks since starting to read these romance smut books than I have in the last 5-10 years. So I think it's like such an interesting thing to look at as like a doorway into like their own sexuality and their own sexual energy. It's like like we're so busy and we've lost the ability to give ourselves time to, I guess, sort of like step into that energy, whereas these books are the doorway in. And I think someone says that, where it's like, she said something, where was it? This one was like, my sex drive follows the characters of the books I'm reading. Lots of sex and tension, high drive, happy boyfriend. No sex or an upset MC, low drive, unhappy boyfriend. He gets to the point where he's wanting every book I read to be highly smutty. So funny. I mean, that is true though. Like, if you're like, just because these romantasy and smut books are like, they have these open door sex scenes, like, there is still like these big story arcs, and I definitely feel like there are, like, after reading, Kingdom of Ash, like there would be times where I'd be like, just please hold me. Oh my God, like, I am a shell of a woman, and he's like, but like, just 3 days ago, and I would have been like, yeah, 3 days ago they were in a different country and they were like celebrating, and it was the first time that they'd like, consummated their love. So it was just different energy, now I'm just like this broken, weeping woman being like, I'm going to need therapy for this, So I think that's a really valid point that she says, like, the sex drive follows the characters of the books, because like that is really true. Like, what you're reading, and which is why it seems to be so potent. What you're reading really translates into like physical responses. So, like, if you're obviously reading something where it's, a sex scene, then that's going to bring up certain responses. But then the reason why you often have such a big response to that is because you're connected to these characters. And to do that, you also need to go through the, sad, traumatic kind of character storyline as well, which is a real shame. Why can't it just be all, happy? All I can say is get your partner a dark romance smut book. I did not read it, but it blew my mind. I feel like this one I actually have to log in to read. I feel like that's because it must be really smutty. Damn it. I don't have a login.
Oh. Where's your man when we need him? What's your login? And then like, we'll just really change his Reddit algorithm, and that's all. He'll just start getting delivered all these threads about smut.
Love her. This one is, describe your sex life in one Lord of the Ring quote.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that would be so great if it was like an ACOTAR thing, but it's like people, because I don't know Lord of the Rings well enough to know, I wouldn't know these quotes, but like, they're so funny. Some of them are like, bring wood and oil, less than half of what I'd hoped for, and in the darkness bind them. You'll find more cheer in a graveyard. Up, up, up the stairs we go, and then we come to the tunnel, and once you go in, there's no coming out. She's always hungry. The ring must be destroyed. But don't tell the elf. Arwen, ride hard. And then there's another one.
I'm done.
Give it to us raw and wriggling. It is a strange fate that we should suffer so much fear and doubt over so small a thing. Speak, friend, and enter. A wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Shit. Oh my God, I'm crying.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
Stop. Stop.
You wouldn't deny an old man his walking stick. Wow. Show us the meaning of haste.
Oh my gosh.
I do not doubt his heart, only the reach of his arm.
Oh. Yeah, classic. God, humans are funny.
That's right. I mean, what a fun quote. Like that whole concept of like just pulling out. I mean, I feel like you could do that in like you could grab a guitar and you could like get lines and then use them as like to describe your sex life.
Oh gosh. I've just got to compose myself. That's the biggest belly laugh I've had in a while. Oh dear. There's lots of threads like men like seriously asking. I shouldn't laugh, but seriously asking, like, I think my wife has an addiction. She's reading a lot of romance. Like, is this like a porn addiction? And then there's just so many people going, stop complaining, lean into it, buy her more. Like, what's the issue? What's the issue here?
Yes.
Have you tried participating? Meaning, ask her what she's reading, have her describe it, do those things to her, bury your face in her crotch as she reads, etc.
As she reads. I mean, that would be a little distracting, don't you think? Like, also, it depends again on what's happening.
Another person's just written, like, leave her alone, let her read. Gosh, it turns into quite the therapy thread, some of these.
Yes.
My wife reads some of the craziest, kinkiest, and sometimes disturbing erotica I've ever heard of. However, it doesn't affect our sex life at all. Hell, it sometimes makes it better. Talk to her about the books. I mean, there's a line. Obviously, there's a line of, you know, if it's taking your partner further away from you, maybe that's a conversation to be had. But a lot of these people just like lean into it. If she's keen and she's loving it and they're getting her hot and horny, take advantage of that.
I do think it's like insightful to see the like I guess the collective responses to what happens when you're reading this particular genre of book, you know, like it's like we have joked about it and stuff, but you know, it's another thing to actually see all these people talking about you know what has changed for them and how they do this and like, you know, reading this and doing that, and suddenly you're just like, oh yeah, like I can see how that was kind of, you know, having an impact.
It is funny, and like you see some of the TikToks where some of the women are trying to get their male partners to reenact things, and I just love it when they get into it, when the partner's like, yeah, all right, I'll lean up against the door the way you want me to, or I'll wear the low slung grey sweatpants, I'll hiss at you. I'm making it fun, keeping it light, and I think they're benefiting from that. A fun conversation.
Yeah,
my belly hurts.
That was
my cheeks hurt.
I mean, people are funny. We would love to know, how has romantasy / smut changed anything in your life? Have you noticed any difference? You know, like, or have you read anything about it? If you found anything interesting or funny, drop us a line.
Absolutely. All right. Talk to you soon.
We'll keep looking. Okay.